Hi, my name is Alan and this is my 15th attempt at making a YouTube video. On this trip we will be heading north to Orlando for a weekend of concerts, outdoor adventures, and some delicious food at some affordable prices. We both left work early today so we could get up to Orlando in time to grab some dinner before seeing our first concert of the weekend, the Chameleons. Saturday we plan on kayaking part of the Rock Springs run up to the Emerald Cut, which is arguably the most beautiful spot in all of Central Florida. This was originally supposed to be a quick Friday-Saturday trip, but unfortunately our second concert got pushed back a day due to the Orlando Magic making the playoffs. So we ended up with an additional day to do a second adventure. We will be doing the Apopka Wildlife Drive for the first time ever. I've been told to expect to see quite a few gators, and since I love seeing gators, I have my fingers crossed. Before our concert tonight, we are stopping at the East End Market for some adult beverages at Neighbors, some ramen at DOMU, and some cookies from Gideon. There was no line yet for DOMU, so we went ahead and grabbed our cocktails first from Neighbors. Once we got our drinks, I went and checked the line again, and it was already forming at 4:15 for the 5 p.m. opening. Thankfully, the bar was nice enough to put our drinks in plastic for us to drink while we were waiting in line. DOMU is one of Orlando's most acclaimed restaurants. Over the years, the restaurant has earned multiple Michelin awards, national recognition from outlets like USA Today and Netflix Somebody Feed Phil, and a loyal following for its signature dishes such as the Richie Rich Ramen and its famous crispy wings. This will be our first time eating at a Michelin-recognized restaurant, and we have been very excited to try it. This was definitely some of the best ramen we've ever had, and to come out to only spending $89 for 2 appetizers, 2 bowls of ramen, 2 drinks, and the tip is an incredible deal. We have to come back to Orlando next month, and we will definitely be coming back. After our ramen, we looked around the market and then we stopped to grab our cookies from Gideon's. The cookies here are amazing. If you've never had Gideon's before, I highly recommend you check out their original location in Disney Springs, as it is quite an experience.
What do you want?
I don't know. Peanut butter. This cake looks delicious. After dinner, it was finally time to head over to the social to see the Chameleons. I was super excited to see they were playing this venue, as neither Aaron and I have ever seen the show here before. It definitely was a nice cozy venue, and we were able to be right up front the entire show. Most of our trips usually involve some sort of camping, but with the 2 concerts on this trip, we wanted a real bathroom to get ready in, so we just ended up booking a motor lodge in Apopka for the weekend. For our first stop for today, we are headed over to beautiful Kelly Park to do some kayaking through the Emerald Cut and go as far as we can up towards Rock Springs. There are 2 options for launching your vessels to get to the Emerald Cut. Both are right next to each other. The first is King's Landing, which is definitely the more popular spot to launch. King's Landing offers rentals, or you can launch your own boats for a small charge. The other option is to launch at Kelly Park, which is what we're doing today. There is also a small fee here as well. One thing to mention is that it is quite a walk from where you park your car at Kelly Park to where the launch is. So unless you have wheels for your kayak or an inflatable like ours that you can easily carry, I wouldn't recommend launching here, as you pretty much can get right on the water at King's Landing. Both launches put you out at the same place very shortly after you launch. It's gonna charge the lily pads. I figured it probably wouldn't be. There was more worrying about the fin catching on something. There's gonna be a lot of people because of King's Landing. There's a fin in the back that's gonna hit for sure. And then it's about to turn from this murky color to the most beautiful blue, shallow water, which is why all the people are standing out here. And then we gotta take a sharp U-turn here. And then we start the march up the river. That's the thing that's supposed to keep the paddleboard attached to your leg. Oh, the cabin?
Yeah.
It's somebody's home. That's somebody's private cabin that's just been here before it was. I mean, look at that thing. It's been here for years. This is one of the prettiest places in Florida, in my opinion. Thank you. We got something. What is that? Oh, lizard. They got a lizard. This is right the area where I normally will stop and jump in because it's a deep spot up here. A little bird. Look the height of this bird right We're getting closer to as far as we can go. Yeah, then we're gonna sit in the water and chill. I'd be out there every night. Yeah, we made it to the Lucky Bastard. Was that a turtle? Yes, I see his head in his body. This is it, as far as you can go. This is where the tubers end getting out. Tucked away in the lush forest of Kelly Park, Rock Springs feels like Florida's version of a tropical daydream. Crystal clear water bubbles straight from ancient limestone caves and winds through the park like a natural lazy river, shaded by palms, oaks, and cypress trees. There we just float.
There's a deer! Right there!
You will be when you go.
Now you are.
People have been floating the chilly 68-degree spring for generations, drifting past turtles, fish, and the occasional curious otter while sunlight dances across the water in glowing shades of turquoise and jade. Swimming spot here. Long before it became one of Central Florida's favorite escapes, the land was part of a wildlife sanctuary created by Dr. Howard A. Kelly, a founder of Johns Hopkins Hospital, who fell in love with the sweet spring water during a visit in 1910 and later donated the property to Orange County as a public park in 1927. Just upstream lies the legendary Emerald Cut, a stretch of rock springs run so brilliantly green and clear it almost looks unreal. Kayakers and paddleboarders glide through this jungle-like corridor surrounded by overhanging trees, winding turns, and glassy water that reveals every ripple in the sandy bottom below. The Emerald Cut gets its name from the glowing emerald color created by the sunlight flickering through the spring-fed water and thick canopy overhead, giving the whole place a magical, hidden world vibe. Paddling upstream against the gentle current feels like exploring an untouched Florida from centuries ago. Wild, quiet, and impossibly beautiful. I wanted to do the short paddle upstream as far as we could go and have the time to hang out. On all my previous trips here, I've always done the 8 miles downstream to Wekiva Island. Because of the shuttle schedule or having to have your car out of Kelly Park by 5 p.m., I've always had to cut this portion of the river short. Today I wanted to have the time to swim and enjoy the water. We have to do the tree. I will.
Oh my gosh.
big old tree right in the middle of the river here. So we'll go this way. Go into the American Horror Store.
This is from Midsummer, this picture.
That's cool.
I meant to say atomic horror.
We're entering the Jason room.
This is one of our favorite places to stop and check out in Orlando. It's the only horror movie store we've ever been to, and they carry a lot of really cool horror movie related items. I always like checking out their selection of Results shirts. Then we had to stop at one of my favorite Florida record stores, Park Avenue CDs. After we finished looking at horror stuff and records, we stopped at Koi Sushi. It was delicious and also didn't break the bank. Then it was time to hit one of our absolute favorite hidden speakeasy tiki bars, Permanent Vacation. Hidden behind a hidden door inside the Copper Rocket, Permanent Vacation in Maitland feels like stumbling into a tropical fever dream where pirate skulls, bamboo walls, fog effects, and rum-fueled cocktails turn an ordinary night into a full-on island escape. How come I don't remember this giraffe the last time? As I have mentioned in our other videos, we absolutely love a good tiki bar that sells the real deal tiki drinks. Permanent Vacation definitely has those, and the atmosphere is super fun. With immersive tiki vibes, theatrical lighting, and drinks served in wildly creative mugs, it's the kind of place where you walk in for one drink and suddenly feel like you've been shipwrecked somewhere far away from real life, in the best possible way. Today's adventure is one I've been looking forward to checking out for quite some time now, the Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive. Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive feels like stepping into a real-life Florida postcard. Except this one comes with sunbathing alligators, clouds of snowy egrets, and the occasional bald eagle gliding ahead like it owns the place. One minute you're staring at dozens of turtles piled on a log like a reptile apartment complex, and the next you're counting so many gators you lose track around number 20. The 11-mile one-way drive winds through marshes, levees, and restored wetlands just outside Orlando, where visitors can creep along at 10 miles an hour with cameras hanging out the windows and jaws hanging open. But the coolest part of this drive is that this wildlife paradise was once considered an environmental disaster. Back in the 1940s, much of Lake Apopka's North Shore was drained for farming during World War II. Fertilizer runoff and pollution slowly transformed what had been one of Florida's legendary fishing lakes into a murky, algae-filled mess. By the 1980s, the lake had become infamous for contamination problems, fish die-offs, and damaged wildlife populations. What visitors see today is a result of one of Florida's largest wetland restoration projects, a decades-long effort to heal the ecosystem and bring the lake back to life.
Come on up there, buddy. I love the meat.
Now the drive feels less like a road and more like a slow-motion safari through old Florida. Birders regularly spot roseate spoonbills, ospreys, limpkins, and hundreds of migratory species, while lucky visitors might catch a glimpse of otters, bobcats, or deer sneaking through the marsh grass.
Look at that big gator. A biker's going by.
The restored wetlands actually help filter and clean the lake's water naturally, turning former farmland into a giant living purifier packed with wildlife. Now more than 360 bird species have been reported here, making it one of the best birding destinations in the country. What makes the experience unforgettable is how wildly Florida it feels in the best possible way. You roll your windows down and you hear frogs croaking, herons squawking, and winds rustling through cattails while giant gators nap beside the road like sleepy dinosaurs. Locals treat the drive like a hidden treasure, and visitors often leave shocked that something this wild exists so close to Orlando's theme parks.
There's another alligator. So we got two gators here, gator there. Three gators over here. No shortage of the gators.
The Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive isn't just a scenic route. It's a comeback story where nature slowly reclaimed the spotlight and turned a polluted lake into one of Central Florida's greatest outdoor adventures.
What are they doing? Just getting it there. That's a fake gator.
I will say it wasn't the greatest news when our concert got pushed back to Sunday night, because now we have to drive back over 3 hours to Fort Lauderdale, so we won't be home until after 2 a.m. and Aaron works in the morning. But gaining the chance to see this amazing wildlife drive does help make tomorrow's tiredness a little more worth it.
Got one gator here on this side. And then on this side. We have another.
Got it? I mean, I can't sleep. So we won't lose it.
Big little one.
If you made it this far into the video, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons as we try to post a new wild Florida adventure every few weeks. thing. It's our first time out here. Want to guess how many gators we saw today? Do you think we saw 33 gators, 47 gators, or 96 gators? If you guessed 47 gators, you would be correct. So I had seen that they had opened a couple of White Castle locations in the Orlando area, so I wanted to give them a try.
Smells like Krystal burger.
Aaron and I had tried White Castles once on a trip to New York, and they were absolutely disgusting. But I always felt that possibly we just happened to pick a bad location. I've always wanted to give it a second chance. Being raised up in Georgia, I grew up with the other little square burger place, Krystal's. I've always heard debates about whose burger was better. Since Orlando actually has both White Castles and Krystal burgers, I decided to personally decide who makes the better burger by trying both today. We needed some time to let our first round of burgers digest a bit, so we decided to look on Yelp for a good Orlando dive bar. We found Lou's Lounge. I have to say, this place was really cool for a dive bar. Definitely gave off 60s vibes in my opinion. I was surprised by how few legit dive bars there were left in Orlando. Thankfully, we found this place. After our beverages, it was time to give the Krystal burger a try. I do want to state that I almost didn't get the Krystal burger. Sadly, this particular location was dirty, the bathrooms were horrific, they only had one person working everything, and the building was in really rough shape. It was bad enough that Aaron refused to even try any food from here. But I decided to risk it since I had already driven out of the way to try the White Castle. That being said, who had the better burger?
Do the better.
Yeah.
After round 2 of our burger tasting, it was time for our last stop before our concert, Aku Aku. Aku Aku Tiki Bar is a cozy, retro-inspired tiki cocktail bar in downtown Orlando, known for its dark Polynesian atmosphere, bamboo and thatched decor, and strong handcrafted rum drinks. Inspired by the famous Aku Aku restaurant at Las Vegas's Old Stardust Casino, the bar leans heavily into classic 1960s tiki culture, with the Moai statues, vintage lounge vibes, and an extensive rum selection. Locals and tiki enthusiasts love it for its intimate neighborhood feel, expertly made Mai Tais and zombies, and the famously potent Tiger Fucker cocktail.
There we go.
Yeah. Finally, it was time to go see our concert at the Kia Center. Tonight, we are going to see my favorite country metal crossover artist, Party. I'm also super excited because this is my first time seeing a show at the Kia Center, which is where the Orlando Magic play. They have the Orlando Magic Hall of Fame in the arena, which I thought was really cool. We got to see stuff from back when Shaq and Penny Hardaway were with the Magic, as well as Dwight Howard and more. Lastly, we got to see Hardy put on another great show before our late drive back to South Florida. It was an amazing end to an amazing week.